Well, good morning, the viewers of Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? Those that have not yet got to know what happened late in the night, you can as well check my last story that I did before this one. It was confirmed yesterday night. Man City lodged their first bid for Declan Rice. Those that never known or never knew that, you can as well check on that video and really get to know how it happened, how much have they gone ahead to put in as a bid. But all I can tell you is that City are now 100% in the race to sign Declan Rice, and they've gone ahead to make a bid, and they're waiting a feedback from West Ham whether they are going to reject it or accept it. And this time round, we are still onto the midfield puzzle that Mikel Arteta is trying to solve at Arsenal, because it looks like Thomas Partey wants out. It's not Arsenal that wants Thomas Partey out, but Thomas Partey looks like he wants to get out of the club and obviously find himself playing his ball elsewhere. And guess who Arteta is seeing him as his ideal replacement is none other than Caicedo. I know this name excites most of the viewers of this channel, and that's why I've said I have to bring you this story here onto the Rokani Media Football. Smash the like button close to 400 times. Don't forget to subscribe. How do you subscribe? Lower right bottom corner is the place to be. Smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing it, hit the notification bell that will enable you get notified every time I upload a video onto this channel. Now, we are talking Emily Smith Rowe sending a message to Mikel Arteta while at the under 21 Euros. And this message is going to be well explained and well digested here onto the Rokani Media Football. And lastly, we are going to show you the reason as to why Mikel Arteta wants Jurrien Timber and how a beast he is when it comes to really progressing the game of Arsenal from the first third to the final third of the pitch. So, Rokan David, all already is my name. You can as well follow us onto Twitter, Rokani Media FB. It's to see to it that you follow us there to not miss out on stories that we upload in here on a day. As I've always told you, we don't upload everything here. We don't. But what we do is that we choose like 3 stories in every episode that we upload, and we tweet loads and loads of stories. Those have always been on the Twitter handle can come here and really evidence it, and they can obviously give you information that most of the stories that we tweet there don't appear onto our YouTube channel, because if we are to do that, we can record videos of like 1 hour, yet I understand that most of you don't want to watch long videos. Now, we want to hit 15,000 subscribers and continue doing so. Now, Thomas Partey, Juventus is in for him. Al Nassr wants to sign Thomas Partey, and here we come with what Mikel Arteta is reacting to onto the departure of Thomas Partey. And you know, Arsenal is an elite team. They don't just sell a player before they get in his replacement. Now, Sam Jedin, he works for the Daily Mail, has gone ahead and really told us the following: that Arteta and Edo would also be interested in signing a second central midfielder to be signed as well as Rice. If a buyer can be found for Thomas Partey, Arsenal remain interested in exploring a move for Caicedo, but are currently behind Chelsea in the race. Now, let's talk Caicedo, Rice, and Thomas Partey. Now, Arsenal have identified Rice as a replacement for Granit Xhaka, who was going to hate to agree business with Bayern Leverkusen, and that's why you see to it that they don't want to let Granit Xhaka go before they get in Declan Rice. And the moment you see to it that the deal of Declan Rice is done, you will see Arsenal cashing in for Moise Caicedo between £15 million to £20 million. That is it, and you're going to see it happening at the club of Arsenal. So, for Thomas Partey, they had pulled out of the Moise Caicedo race because they knew they were going to keep Thomas Partey. But if Thomas Partey is leaving and is the one pushing to leave, not the club pushing him to leave, Arteta and Edu have decided to go back for Moise Caicedo because he's a player they see that is an ideal replacement of Thomas Partey. And to me, I think he offers more to the club than Declan Rice. And I don't know why Arsenal have always made it a priority to first get in Declan Rice than Moise Caicedo, because the fact is, Caicedo is better than Declan Rice. Go to the stats and see. This man adds a lot to the game. But because there is that obsession of English players that you must be having them in your club under what we call the homegrown players rule, I think Arsenal is trying to see to it that they really see themselves bring in more English players. And that's why you saw to it that Arsenal fought a lot to keep Eddie Nketiah, because Eddie Nketiah is a homegrown player. Even Reece Nelson, however much he's not going to have a lot of time to play at Arsenal, they fought a lot to see to it that they give him a deal that could keep him at Arsenal for the next 5 or 4 years at the club. So Arsenal in the recent past, they've been having what we call a bad history when it comes to having English players, especially under Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger never had lots of English players, as he complained that they're of low quality and they're expensive. That's why most of the English players that played for Arsenal were bought on a cheap while they are still young, brought in the academy, and obviously improved by Arsene Wenger to become what they are. So right now, Declan Rice is a priority, not because he's better than Moise Caicedo, but because he is an English player that fits into that homegrown best role. So Caicedo is one of those players that Arsenal is wanting, and it is said that Brighton is calling in for £80 million. Chelsea has just sent a message to Brighton that we cannot meet that amount of money. That is it. They've told them we cannot pay £80 million for that. But by the time they did that, they are the only ones interested into the signature of Moise Caicedo. That is it. But no sooner had they put out that on Friday, guess what is going to happen? Man United is planning to raid Moise Caicedo after Chelsea is trying to block or fail them on Mason Mount. Chelsea is calling in for £65 million. United is offering them 50 plus £5 million of add-ons, and they've told them that if at all you feel like you can take that bid, take it. If you don't feel like that, we are out, we are off, and we are going in for Moise Caicedo. Now, for Moise Caicedo, he first agreed personal terms with Arsenal in January. Arsenal never signed him. Then Arsenal was still pushing for him, not until they felt like they don't need 2 central midfielders. However much they needed them, but they cannot go for Declan Rice, £100 million, and then find themselves in a position of signing another player of £80 million, because it was not equaling well or calculating well, and they said no, we cannot go to that. And I think the availability of Kai Havertz changed everything for Moise Caicedo to Arsenal, because the amount of money that Arsenal is going to have to pay for Kai Havertz can be used to buy Moise Caicedo. Arsenal has paid £67 million for Kai Havertz, and Brighton want only 80, meaning that they are just £13 million less. So that means that the coming in of Kai Havertz just put Arsenal down. But one will ask me, Rokani, where is Arsenal going to get the money to sign Moise Caicedo? Arsenal wants to sell Thomas Partey at £40 million. Now, if they sell Partey at £40 million, sell Lokonga at like 30, that is 70, meaning that they can easily add up money to sign this player. And there are very many players that Arsenal is going to sell, right, to leave that club. There is KNT, and he's one of those. Arsenal is having Grant Xhaka, Rob Holding is in the mix. Arsenal want to sell him. Florin Balogun is one of those that Arsenal want to cash in for. There is a list of like 6, 7, 8, 10 players that Arsenal is willing to sell to see to it that they get in money. Cedric Soares is another one. You understand? Nuno Tavares is still there. So Arsenal has a majority of players they can sell and raise close to £150 million. As you saw to it that they are trying to sell Balogun at £50 million. So that is what is going to make this deal possible. So I think it will be a very good replacement for Thomas Partey. As to me, I believe Caicedo offers more than Thomas Partey. I've always come out and really said these things that Arsenal fans have not gone ahead to really agree with me, but I would like to let you know that in my top 5 CDMs in the Premier League, Thomas Partey doesn't fit. I believe Casemiro is ahead of Thomas Partey. Rodri is ahead of Thomas Partey. Moise Caicedo is ahead of Thomas Partey. There is Paulinho, who plays for Fulham, is ahead of Thomas Partey. Which other? There is another guy who plays as a CDM. So Partey makes my top 10, but does not make my top 5. That is it. So it shows you the levels at which Arsenal are trying to improve, to see to it that they get in players that are really going to make them better. So that's it, coming in from Caicedo, Arteta's Thomas Partey replacement. So, but that will only happen if at all Arsenal sell or get a person who can really give them the amount of money they want from Thomas Partey. But you will understand that it also needs to happen early enough, because Manchester United is preparing its bid. Then, which other team? Chelsea is preparing its bid too, to see to it that they really sign this player. And you never know, this week Chelsea might bid in, because they need to get the money in. And after getting the money in, after selling Koulibaly, Aubameyang, Ziyech, Kai Havertz, and Eduardo Mendy, and they want to use that money to bid for this guy Caicedo. So it's really going to be so much like if at all Arsenal gets Moise Caicedo, because the shift has now changed. Chelsea is leading the race for Moise Caicedo, and Arsenal is next to that. So can Arsenal pull out a moment of magic? And that moment of magic bases onto how quick Arsenal gets the deal of Declan Rice out of the way, as their third bid is anticipated either today or tomorrow to counter the 80 plus 10 million pound bid that Man City lodged yesterday night. So that is it. Let's get into the Emile Smith Rowe story here onto the Rokani Media Football. Now, Emile Smith Rowe scored his second goal in the tournament of the under-20 Euros, and he had the following to say after the game. He said to the BBC reporter known as Alex Howell, "My main focus is to get into the Arsenal team, but first we want to win this tournament." So he's all doing this with his heart down in London. However much he's playing for the under-21s, he knows he's good. And the first game he came off the bench. The second game, he just found himself in a situation of starting the game as Jacob Ramsey, who plays for Aston Villa, really got an injury, and he never found himself in a situation being ready to start to play ball against, I think it was against Israel, that Emile Smith Rowe scored a very good, beautiful goal that gave England what we call a comfortable lead. Remember, even in the first game, it was 1-0, he came in through and obviously gave them a comfortable lead. And again, he comes again into this beautiful game of football to give them what we call a comfortable lead again. That is Emile Smith Rowe. But if you're discussing Emile Smith Rowe, it's one of those things that Arteta, Edu are going to be so much excited about, because when you are really in a situation of Emile Smith Rowe that he was in last season, you would pray hard as a fan of Arsenal, sporting director of Arsenal, manager of Arsenal, to see to it that he gets back to where he's supposed to be. This boy scores very many goals. He scores very many goals, and he is clinical. He has an eye for goal. He's not selfish. He scores goals and puts in assists. So when you look at how he's really firing in all cylinders at the under-21 Euros 2024, 2023, it's all the best for this man known as Emile Smith Rowe. And Arteta is excited. And after playing in the under-21s, he's going to board direct to go to America to find or join Arsenal as they play their games in there for you. And I think Emile Smith Rowe is really fighting to get into the first starting 11 of Arsenal. 100% recon that he can really dislodge some people and can fight for his position. Why? He offers a lot. And if I told you so, the first game that Arsenal played in Nuremberg in the preseason of 2022, you saw that Arteta played him in a midfield three, meaning that he can be one of those players that Arteta can look at as replacements of Granit Xhaka, because he has that intent, to play as a box-to-box midfielder. That is Emile Smith-Rowe, and he's really a very good guy who has talent, and I believe he has a lot to offer, and his tank still has a lot to offer, and it's really full to see to it that he takes himself to the next level. Now, let's do something concerning Jurrien Timber. Arsenal went ahead to submit their second bid yesterday for Jurrien Timber, and as it stands, Ajax are trying to consider the second bid that Arsenal put in through. And now, Opta Analyst has gone ahead to give us Jurrien Timber progressive carries in the Dutch Eredivisie season 2022-2023. Jurrien Timber progressive carries in the Eredivisie carried the ball 5,038 meters upfield in 2002-2003, more than any other Eredivisie player. Now, this is what Arteta based on to get in this player. Is the main reason behind signing this guy. As you see his progressive carries, look at how this guy does. And trust me, this is not a carry coming in from a right back. No. Most of these carries are done, or 80% of those carries you're seeing there, the progressive carries, you see, he's starting from what we call the central defense positions, you see, and few of those carries, that's where he starts as a right back or a left back, but most of the carries are coming through from the central position. And this is where I told you that however much Arsenal loves Saliba, but Saliba is going to feel the heat when this boy arrives. That is it. He's going to feel the heat when Jurrien Timber arrives. Why? Saliba can't do this. Saliba can't do this, meaning that Jurrien Timber is going to come in through because he's an absolute baller, and there's going to be what we call fighting for the position of the right back situation, and I think for any elite team, you'd love to be having such competition into your positions, every position that you're having on the pitch. Look at Man City. They're having Akanji, they're having Ruben Diaz, they're having John Stones, they're having Nathan Ake and Laporte. So Laporte is leaving, and Man City are bringing in Vadio. You get? So they're bringing in Vadio, and Vadio is going to compete with Ruben Diaz and the others into that central defense. So it shows you that if you are to match Man City's quality, you must be having players in the same wavelength or in the same frequency when it comes to that game and talent. That is Saliba versus Jurrien Timber, and that's why I always tell you that Timber is really a fantastic signing. So guys, your thoughts onto Moise Caicedo being Mikel Arteta's preferred Thomas Partey replacement are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Emile Smith-Rowe sending a message that he wants to get back with the Arsenal team, not the squad, but the first starting 11 of Arsenal? Would you think he's going to make it according to how he's firing in all cylinders, 2 games, 2 goals in the Euros under-21s? And lastly, do you think Saliba will survive the talent and the progressive ball play of Jurrien Timber when he's officially signed as an Arsenal player? I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the living true God protect you abundantly. Me out.